Welcome to this space where love is true. Open hearts and minds, there's a place for you. Gather round together, let your spirit play. In this community, we'll find our way. Every soul a story, a journey to unfold, seeking out the wisdom, the truths of new and old. We release our fears, let the light shine bright. In the warmth of our spirit, we ignite the night. Arise, arise, through awareness we will grow, taking responsibility for what's mine, opens up the flow. Inspire living happens from the inside out, knowing spirit is all, washes away any doubt. Everyone evolves in their own perfect way. Let us hold hands as we proclaim. Arise. Steps of faith we take with courage in our hearts. Every voice a chorus, every smile a part. From every corner of our city we come anew, with open arms and spirits to embrace what's true. Feel the energy rising, the joy in the air, as we sing our song of love. Let go of despair. Here at the center, there is a seat just for you. Sharing in the laughter while we co-create the new. Rise, arise, through awareness we will grow, taking responsibility for what's mine, opens up the flow. Inspire living happens from the inside out, knowing spirit is all, washes away any doubt. Everyone evolves in their own perfect way. Let us hold hands as we proclaim. Arise. Together we explore the realms of the divine, unfolding to our potential, weaving hearts sublime. Every journey matters, every truth we share. We lift each other higher, showing how we care. So hold on to the vision, let your bliss lead the way. Live every single moment, let love fill your day. As we rise up together, a symphony of grace. Find the light within us, in the sacred space. So come one, come all, to this place of peace. In our unity, may your worries cease. With open hearts and open minds, let's embrace the call. Within the center for spiritual living, there's a place for us all. Arise, arise, let spirit be your guide. Welcome to your spiritual home. It's so great to be alive. Arise.
Good morning, everybody, on this beautiful first day of March. It's wonderful that you were able to join us. We have a a beautiful schedule set up for you. So let's get started. So we have our service team. Miss Tony is in the background making everything work for us, so we don't have to worry about it. We have music videos by not just Donnie Lee today, but also by Karen Drucker. And of course, I'll be your host and doing the invocation for you today. Practitioner Bill Smith will be honoring us with a wonderful reading. And then, of course, be ready to be inspired by our speaker, Rev Joe Kovach. So our purpose and our action and our practice is arise. If you were listening to the music you just listened to, or the song lyrics, that's what she was talking about, this arise, having awareness, having radical responsibility of who and what you are, living from the inside out, or inside out living. Spirit is all there is. We know that there is only one. And then everyone is evolving, always. Our vision at CSL St. George is a community-focused center, actively living, sharing, and nurturing its members, that's you and me, and friends, so that all may live their best life. At CSL, our mission is an open, inclusive, and evolving spiritual community that supports its purpose and vision through sacred wisdom celebrations like the one today, empowering transformative education, youth and young adult programs, dynamic music ministry, community inreach, taking care of our own, and community outreach, helping the community around us. We have our Zoom meeting after we're done here. We're going to all hop on Zoom and have a conversation, talk about what inspired us about what Reverend Joe talked about and what our thoughts are about it. So it's a good place to come together, again, for community. You know, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Reverend Rachel Dilling, and I'll be your host today. Next in service is next Sunday. We'll be meeting on, you guys will be meeting, because I'm not going to be there, March 8th, 2026, Traveling in a World of My Creation. I can't wait to watch that one on YouTube. So sometimes in life we need a little extra grace, we need a little extra love, we need a little extra support, or we just need someone to see us bigger than we see ourselves. That's what our practitioners are for. They've been trained to do this. So if you need a little prayer or an entire session, just reach out to our practitioners on the website. Go into CSLSG.org/about and reach out, because that's their contribution to serve, is to be there for you when you need them. So don't be afraid. Reach out. Community comes from people participating and being part of something greater than themselves. The center is your spiritual home. So by investing your time and your talents, you are creating a better space for everyone, including yourself. So if you would like to participate, talk to one of the practitioners, or me, or Reverend Joe, or part of the council, and you'll see that we have lots of different opportunities each Sunday and beyond. So our hands, our hearts, our home. Also, knowledge is power. So as we continue to grow in our spiritual practices, we have a bookstore that is, the books have been, most of them have been donated so that you can expand your knowledge. So make sure when you're in person next week and on the 4th week of the month, go in there and take a look at what books we have. We just ask for a donation. And if you have books in your library that you've read and you'd like to, that are relevant, you can always bring them in and donate those too. And of course, we have our wonderful practitioner, Sue, who offers our Do You Speak Woo Woo workshop every 4th Sunday. So this one will be March 22nd from 12:30 to 2. We hope you can join her. And coming down the road, we also have the Financial Peace University class, or I guess the class that's got several sessions, where you can really dive into your beliefs and how you're actually practically working with your money. So right now, Reverend Joe is doing the Spiritual Economics, which is an amazing book. And this is the next step. So once we understand how we are spiritually linked to our income and our money, now we can go and figure out how to budget and make it practically work, or work practically. So hopefully you'll get involved in that as well. And it's that time of year again. We have one seat opening for our core council. So please take the time, do some self-contemplation, and see if that's someplace that you would like to serve. So the seat opens in April. We're doing interviews in March. So if you would like an application, you can reach out to one of the council members. Or go online. There's a PDF that we can send you that you can then fill out and get back to Marina, our president, or one of us other people on the council. And now we're so blessed. We have permission by Karen Drucker to use her music and her videos, so we get to see the face of God. I love this song. Hit it, Tony. Oh, got a little tickle in my throat. Well, obviously we had some technical difficulty. We'll get it ironed out so that the next video, hopefully, we'll get it working beautifully. Thank you, Tony. And now for our reading by Mr. Bill Smith.
Thank you for explaining that, Rachel. I was thinking that was one of those new type of songs that you don't really actually hear. You just read the words and know that there's.
Experience it. That was not the intention. I don't think. No.
Oh, okay, all right. And she's gone. Anyway, so I am here for the reading, as you can see on the slide, and I chose for today's reading a passage called "Opening to a Greater Life" by Thomas Berry. And it's a little bit of a long one, so bear with me here. Tell the future generations that something new is happening, a new vision, a new energy, a new sacred story is coming into being in the transition from one era to another. Tell them in the darkness of this time, a vast transformation is occurring in the depths of human consciousness, which is leading to the recovery of the soul, the earth, the universe, and a sense of the sacred. Tell them they must develop the inner vision that we need if we are to make the adjustments required for a viable future. Our existential questions must now be, how do we relate to the earth and to the universe? Our most basic issue is how we bond with the earth. And tell them they will meet great companions along the way, including those that burrow in the soil, fly in the air, and swim in the sea. Tell them to seek their own role in the larger evolutionary process. Tell them that humans are always in the process of becoming, always opening to greater life, if they can learn to see it. Tell them the greatest need is to develop a sensitivity to recognize the inner promptings that emerge from the depths of one's own being, where the sacred reality resides. And above all, tell them to practice an intimate presence to the beauty and wonder of the natural world through their intuitive awareness that recognizes the oneness of all life. Tell them to stop and in large moments throughout their days to become aware of the mysteries and miracles of creation all around them. The movement of a squirrel, the sound of a bird, the pattern of a leaf, the changing patterns of light, the sun, the rain, the stars, dawn, and sunset. Tell them we are not ourselves without everything and everyone else. Tell them to remember the great seasons and cycles of life. In moments of intimacy with the natural world, they will recover the lost sense of the sacred in the human-earth relationship, and they will be participating in the evolution of a new consciousness on Earth that can overcome the mental fixations of our times, expressed in radical division between humans and the natural world. A mutually enhancing relationship will then become possible as the communion of all things is understood. And this reading really just struck me, particularly, when we start looking at the interactions that we as a species are having these days. Seems like it's always as the intermediary of a cell phone or a computer between us. And I think the more time that we spend in nature, and I've heard several people say that nature is like a vitamin, a vital vitamin that we have to, we just need as a species. And I think the more time we spend in nature or communing with nature, the more it improves our relationships between each other within the species. So thank you, and blessings.
Thank you, Bill. That was lovely. And now it's time for our invocation. So if you will soften your gaze or close your eyes, whatever you're more comfortable with, and allow my words to be your words. So knowing that God is all there is, all knowing, all powerful, all present, knowing that God is the source of all things, the stars, the moon, the blade of grass, the particles, that it is everything. And as I know this to be the truth, I know it is who and what I am, as it is every individual that can hear my voice right now and in the future and from the past, that it is all one, all God. And so knowing this is the truth, we know that in this moment of turmoil, that there is peace, that we create and choose peace, peace in me, peace in the Middle East, peace in the world, peace in the universe, knowing that this is our ability, our right, our will in the divinity of life, to acknowledge the war inside and allow peace. I also acknowledge the beautiful opportunity of technology that allows 4 or 5 people in different places to be in one, to be able to come together and to have an event or a talk or an experience together. I bless this engagement. I bless the speaker who is going to inspire us with his knowledge and his experience and his love and his peace. I bless the technology. I bless the music and the videos, knowing as we come together, it is all divinely guided. In such gratitude, I say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I release my word into the law, knowing it is done. And so it is. So it is. Excellent. Okay. So we're ready for the next video. So Mr. Donnie Lee singing Free. Okay, so we're just going to move right along. Having more technical difficulties. Hopefully we can, by the end, hopefully we'll get it figured out. But in the meantime, we're here to hear Reverend Joe's wonderful sermon or talk. And so let's just go on and move forward to that. So Reverend Joe, welcome.
Reverend Joe needs prayer too.
Oh, yes.
I just want to let everybody know we do actually pre-test everything, and I triple checked because I'm the one that added the videos. So they work here even as we play them. For some reason, there's a hiccup of you all hearing them, and everything is on. So we will try to investigate that. We apologize for that. It just gives me more time to talk, I guess. That's not a bad thing, right? Or maybe, depending on your thought. But thank you, Rachel. That was a beautiful prayer. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Very, very much. And so again, sorry for the technical difficulties. I don't know, and I'm just going to move forward because that's what feels good to me. So we will definitely, and I do want to thank Karen Drucker for Tony actually reached out to her and her contacts and to see if she might be willing to assist us with videos, and she said absolutely. So if you don't know her, check her out on YouTube and her website, karendrucker.com. She's amazing, and she's been around for a long time, and she holds such great consciousness. So happy March. Let's just start with that. It is another month. It is March. February's gone. It's amazing. And so how are you today? with everything going on, let's take a collective breath together, shall we? And just center into the greatest, in this moment, the greatest level of joy and happiness that you can feel, and peace. Ready? And that right there, my friends, is spiritual practice. Bring ourselves to the center, to grounding in spirit. And I really think what an appropriate time for the talk today, which is called A World of Pure Imagination, because I'm going to present imagination in a different way. And in the big sense that it's not something that something that we generally use for escape. And I want to assist us in shifting our viewpoint of it, in recognizing that our imagination is the creative faculty of spirit itself, through which we collectively and individually envision a new world. Think about that for a moment. We're not just fantasizing about what could be and maybe if, and having, in essence, fun. And yes, that's part of it. But let us understand that there's only one mind, and our mind is a center point of what we would call God or spirits or the universe's mind. And what I'm excited about today is I get to kind of use as an example one of my absolute all-time favorite movies, which is the 1971 version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And the first thing I'm going to point out using that movie, and hopefully most of you have seen that version, is that in the very beginning, when the winners are standing outside and Willy invites them in, one thing he doesn't do is sit there and explain and tell the winners what to feel, what the rules are, etc. He just invites them in. And I want to emphasize that there's an invitation that is always being offered by spirit, by source. It doesn't tell us what to think or feel. That's within us. And we get to answer that invitation or not each and every moment, yet each and every day. And then once the children walk in, he sings that beautiful song and that beautiful line, "Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination," right? What he doesn't say is, "Come with me and escape reality because you live in a broken world," right? He says, then the very next line of that song is, "Take a look and you'll see into your imagination." And that's because that's all we can do. And that in assisting us do that, that's where our spiritual practices come in. And so in the same way that the factory operated and offered gifts to each child, and in essence, we're going to get deeper into that, it actually revealed what was within the child. In that same way, life keeps inviting us, right? Not to try to control the factory, the world, but to walk through it more awake, more aware. In the opening, in our reading today, and thank you, Bill, that was a great reading, he talks about pausing. Barry does, and he says, stop and listen to the birds and realize what season you're in and everything going on. And so that invitation that Spirit is saying to us is, come with me, right? And if we understand our imagination as that creative medium, that creative faculty, man, what could we really do if not only in ourselves, but if we gather together with a single cause, like world peace? And so the first real point I'm going to make is spiritual practice is also like not an escape. What are we doing? We're training the inner vision is what we're doing. And so like the factory, again, meditation, prayer, affirmation are not about checking out of a broken world. The world isn't broken. It could be better. Let's admit that. But it is a world of our creating. We're all contributing to that, whether we realize that or not, whether it's conscious or not. And through spiritual practices, we can get to the point to where we see life differently. And when I say life, I mean our individual life, as well as the collective life, the world that involves all. And Thomas Berry in the reading, he talked about, he said, develop the inner vision that we need for the future. That takes practice. I don't know about you, but even when I try to meditate in the sense of meditate on something specific, my mind is all over the place until I do it consistently, dedicatedly, okay? Ease into it sometimes, but just to hold the thought, and I mean even just to hold the thought of happiness. For me, sometimes it can be challenging because there's so much coming at us that we lose track of what's coming through us. Now, Ernest Holmes would simply remind us that there's just that one life expressing infinitely through its diversity. So expressing the one through the many and the many as the one. So spiritual practice, in essence, again, helps us shift and transform our perception. Okay. We're not changing the problem in essence. We're changing the way we see the problem and co-creating the next best evolution for an answer. And imagination is that bridge between our inner knowing, our inner truth, our inner alignment, and the outer action, behavior, expression. So if you've never done a meditation before, or you feel, I'm going to say whether you know it or not, you've prayed, because all of our prayers, all of our speeches, all of our words are prayer. Our conversations are prayer. And we're either focusing on what we really want or what we don't want. And the practices also anchor us into seeing the sacred and the profound in everyday actions, behaviors, your job, going to the store, driving, whatever it may be. But at the same time, in everyday things around us, just this room that I'm in, my house, I go outside, the yard, the birds, the dogs I hear barking, etc., etc. All of our relationships, our health, our wellness. And now when I say our, I mean, yes, we start with our individual selves. We have to start there, because if I can't see this as sacred and divine, then how am I able to see you? I go back to the simple analogy. I can't give you something I don't have. If you ask me for apples and all I have is oranges, I can't give you apples. Okay. So again, one of the main points is Willy Wonka in the movie, he doesn't explain the factory. He invites the children to enter into it. And I believe that's what Spirit is doing with us. We are in, yes, we're already in it in essence, but like enter into the truth, the unconditional love and joy that is available right here, right now, which we're not tuning into. And again, I think this, I mean, with what's going on in the Middle East and so forth, I'm just going to stress, you can't change the movie by going up to the movie screen. Okay. And some people will disagree with me, but let's take care of, and Rachel said it perfectly in her prayer. First things first is, how are we seeing the world? Because the world is a mirror of our individual and collective belief systems. And apparently there's enough people in the world that believe that, you know, we must have war to solve problems still. You know, and I can talk for days about that subject. What I'm going to ask you to do is join me in using your imagination to co-create together a world of peace. But we have to have peace within our own soul first. If we have negative biases and judgments, and I don't mean like an opinion, like I don't like X music, I'm not saying that. But if we know we hold and we harbor hate and anger, any of that is contributing to what we are witnessing. And so let's do that inner work. And in helping ourselves, we enter into literally, that's an invitation, to enter into a new literal reality. And so the main point here, I just want to share that spiritual practice doesn't explain life. It trains us to perceive it. Okay. How do we want to perceive it? Okay. Because God is perfect. And so if we're not recognizing that perfection, okay, then we need to adjust our alignment, okay, and recognize the truth in the situation. Now, that doesn't mean we allow people to walk all over us, and we protect those that need to be protected. And again, first, we take care of that. And in that, we were talking beforehand about, it's kind of crazy now because I'm to the point, and I don't know if you realize how good AI is, but in the 90s, I believe, there was a movie, and we think it was called Wag the Dog, that literally, they created a war that didn't exist in Hollywood. They created it in Hollywood like a movie. And I can tell you that I've seen videos that looked 100% real and were not. They were made up by AI. Now, I'm not going into some conspiracy controversy and whatnot, but my point is rather than framing AI, because it's in the news everywhere, as a threat or a savior, I want to point out what I believe it really is, and it is what everything else is, which is a mirror of consciousness, right? Like technology, we can use it to help and heal, or we can use it to hurt and destroy. So technology, in essence, really is revealing or amplifying the consciousness that is using it, right? If we think about going back to the kids in the factory, the Willy Wonka factory, the one Augustus, right? He was using that opportunity and invitation to continue to overindulge and overeat. And then there was Veruca, who was just spoiled, and she didn't care about anybody else. Everything was hers. She was entitled. And so AI is literally shaped by imagination, intention, and hopefully more ethics. But again, the real question isn't what can AI do, but who are we when we're using it, or who is using it and what is their intention? And, I brought this topic up because it's modern, it's now, it's happening, and AI is everywhere. I mean, they have like just AI and appliances and AI and this and that. The bottom line is we're all connected to the best, well, I won't call it AI, but intelligence, and that's infinite intelligence. And that is where our spiritual practices really should be focused. We don't technically need the internet to discover what is already inside us. It's not my little mind and God's mind, and there's some connection or there isn't some connection. It's all of God. Everything is of God. And so it's our individual connection, in essence, alignment. In other words, are we saying yes to the invitation, or do we believe that we need a tool? And I'm not saying that's wrong. I mean, we have to take steps. So again, AI can serve in healing, can serve with creativity, and it can lead even with wisdom if the right-minded use of imagination, or let me put it that way, if the imagination is spiritually grounded, is how I would say it. Now, going back to Wonka's factory, right? Again, it was totally open, right? He basically said everything is edible, right? That was its thing. And it was like, what? At first, like the kids' minds couldn't even grasp it. But again, what happened, instead of saying, wow, this is amazing, and let me see it as the blessing that it is, and recognizing that I live in a world that is infinite and there's always more. If Augustus, the child that was overeating, the factory revealed his current state of consciousness. He believed in lack. He believed that he had to have more and more and more, and that was the way to overindulge. So life will also continue to show what is already within us. Think about that, right? And then the other slightly, I want to go back to AI real quick, and I'm sorry I'm flipping around, but I got to follow my thoughts here too, which is people are scared about AI and the big threat is it taking over. But the way I put it, I wrote myself a note which says, would we need to be concerned about robots taking over if we lived in a world of love, respect, compassion, and integrity? In other words, if that's where the use and imagination was coming from, the robots wouldn't even have that idea. They only mirror, and AI, say not just robots, but AI can only mirror us. So again, what technology are you using? If we're using meditation and we're using it to be spiritually grounded in the best feeling that I can feel and to allow my mind to be, in essence, to settle my random crazy thoughts and to just be and to just enjoy the moment then when I'm done. It's a beautiful thing. Last night, I went out to see a friend and fellow practitioner, Gary Alimo, sing. And he sang Barry Manilow hits, and it was amazing. And what was amazing about it, one, was the whole room was filled with friends of Las Vegas CSL and his friends and family, which I know most of. So that was beautiful to be in just a place of like-mindedness and love, and at the same time of watching Gary just tap into his talents and his joy. And he sang like I've never heard him sing before. And I use him as the example because I'm capable of doing that. Now, he practiced a lot. I can tell. He threw himself whole self in. He prayed up on it. He meditated on it. What are we doing with our time? Right? I think I would suggest that we each need to visit our imagination more often as a safe place to commune with our own inner thoughts, to really bring out maybe those things that we don't always want to admit, but we can't heal it until we reveal it. Okay. We're not, as humans, we're going to have negative thoughts. We're going to have biases and judgments, and that's part of the, I'll say, part of the game we play, but it doesn't mean we have to hold on to them. And when we recognize it come from the place of science of mind, which is there is only one life expressing in, as, and through infinite form, and we tap into recognizing that we are that, as is technology and the forms of technology, then we can tap into the absolute infinite creativity of that. Or we can tap into the absolute destructiveness of that, depending on our states of consciousness. And so the point for this, which is imagination shapes the tools we use, including AI, technology doesn't corrupt humanity, it magnifies it. And so maybe you're saying, well, what can I do about the whole world? Again, the first step is to bring it home. One of the uses of the word jihad in Islamic traditions is the war between the head and the heart. And so, in other words, it's really easy to do things, but sometimes our heart's not in the right place. Think things and imagine them. And other times, our heart is in the right place. We're coming from love in the best way that we can. And at the same time, we know there's more, but there's a whole lot of things that we need to simply filter out that are no longer serving us. And so in that, I want to make the third point, which is the using our imagination as a liberation tool. Freedom. Imagination, and this, preparing for this talk has really helped me look at imagination differently. I think it's an absolute precious gift that Spirit, again, invites us not just to use, because everything is Spirit, but to recognize is available to us and that we are it, right? To use imagination to see beyond what has been, whatever is the limitations, etc., because it is infinite. There is a way beyond our ideas of lack and limitation again, and start tapping into what is emerging through, right? Is hope taking shape in my imagination? Am I practicing allowing hope? You know, it's kind of like a room, what was it called in Star Trek? The holodeck, I think it was called, right? And that was like, I guess, the AI use, and it would create a 3D reality that you could then play in, practice in. Sometimes the captain would go in and he loved Sherlock Holmes, so he would pretend he's Sherlock Holmes and everything. So yeah, there's a little fantasy in there, but they would also go in there to practice things and speaking with others. And we have the access. We don't have to have a physical room to go into to play. It's right here. It's unlimited. Going back to Willy Wonka, if we look at Charlie, who ends up, because of who he is and because of who the factory revealed, he wins the entire factory because Wonka realizes his life is limited, and he wanted to make sure that there was a seed out there that was with just perfect intention and hope and creativity and openness and love. It wasn't that Charlie was the biggest, strongest, maybe even smartest. It was that he was coming from his pure imagination of love, of unity, of inclusiveness, right? And he won and wasn't changed by it. He was just like, wow. Like, it wasn't like I, me. It was, wow, like, what can I do for others now? How can I serve? He was open. He was kind. He was awake. He was allowing. And he allowed that awe and that wonder, that curiosity to just be and express through him. And that was, again, all rooted, that was already within him. It was just, he said yes to the invitation of spirit. And I believe that same quality lives in you. It lives in me. And that we can begin, the only way we're going to begin to ever trust it is to start using it and practicing it, not just, again, as fantasy. And it's okay to say, what if? I think it would be wonderful to spend 15, 20 minutes a day thinking, what would a world without war look like? What would a world where, yeah, we're going to have conflicts, but we're able to sit down around a table and just discuss them and come to an amicable solution? Again, this is why I talk about imagination as a tool of liberation, because it frees us from the fear and our fearful beliefs of a future and creating the future through fear. It allows us to kind of put things into place, begin to recognize where we are coming from. Because look, as long as we hold fear, in my opinion, then we don't believe in an all-powerful God that is happening for us. And this is my opinion. And because if I did, I would know that everything is going to be okay no matter what it looks like. And I believe that the most gifted teachers and prophets came to tell us that and show us that this is kind of, we're here to try to be our best. And each of us carries, each of you have a unique vision, qualities, talents that with the right intent and the right practice can assist in co-creating and weaving a world of love, of care, of community, of creativity, unconditional love. And I used to say that word when I was younger and I didn't know what it meant. And then I realized, as I got older, unconditional, without condition. I just love because I am it, and that's what it is. I have no conditions. And I do remember a time in my life, I believe, that's where I was. I was younger, of course, and then life took over, and I began to have some fear and thoughts and being scared, etc., and allowed that to lead me and guide me, because that was the world that I saw myself in, happening in the first stage of consciousness. It was happening to me. I didn't recognize my own power. And you have that power too, to choose. That's a superpower. And to imagine I guess the words that are coming to me here would be like gently yet boldly, a world that truly works for everybody. And so third point here, let me make it two, imagination is liberation. So we're saying yes to what is becoming. Holmes says unity does not mean uniformity. And I mentioned that, I believe it was my last talk, with the idea of, becoming one doesn't mean we're all copycats of each other. You still get to do the things you love and be who you are and have your sense of humor and so forth, just not necessarily at the expense of others. And that's how God works anyway. And the main point is that we're not here to copy the past, but to participate in what's becoming. And we can do that all in our imagination. Our thoughts are powerful. I remember talking to James Twyman. He was called the Peace Troubadour. Well, he is called the Peace Troubadour. I got to speak with him in person, and he shared at this, where he gave his talk. This was back in the early 90s, when, like, if you talked about meditation, you were kind of considered like way out there, and not in a good way. But he held meditations, large group, like hundreds of people, when the war in the Gulf War was going on. And they have like documents, facts of how the nights that they prayed were the lowest nights of activity. And often, he said, the one point that they were supposed to be this huge buildup and excursion happening, leaving that night. And that night when they prayed for peace, praying on what they want, whatever reason, that never happened. That's the power of our collective consciousness, friends. But again, we have to clean up our own signal first. So I guess my final words of conclusion would be to remind ourselves that imagination is a beautiful tool for us to use. It's an invitation to co-create what's next. We're not escaping a broken world, but we are here to collectively imagine it anew. And we work inwardly and express outwardly. And until what reflects back to us is what we want to see, then we need to continue to work towards that together. And that's why I love having this community that we have. And so let's use one of our tools I mentioned, which was affirmation. And it is simply, this week is, I open my imagination to the wisdom of spirit guiding my life. With wonder and love, I help bring forth a world shaped by possibility and unity. And so let me close this session with prayer. And take that breath to ground in. And just start with gratitude. I am grateful for the peace that I'm able to sit here within right now. And while I cannot physically do anything to assist others, no matter what trauma they are going through, whether it be in a physical war where bombs are dropping, or a mental internal war, what I know and declare and affirm is there is peace. There is an invitation to peace. There is an invitation coming from unconditional love that instantly releases all fear, all doubt, all beliefs in lack and limitation and not enoughness and lack of being worthy. All of that just evaporates. So I just continue to feel that peace, and I make sure that I'm feeling it in my heart, the energy center of our physical bodies. And many spiritual and religious traditions believe that this is the seat of the soul. And what I know is everyone hearing my voice right now is of spirit, is of that unconditional love. And that we are doing our best to co-create a reality that is grounded in peace, grounded in unity, grounded in diversity, grounded in uniqueness, and recognizing that the perfect talents and abilities and skills are always available. They're in you now. They're in me. And as I say you and me, I recognize there's only one I'm talking to, because there's just this one life. And yet we are all centers of that divine conscious mind, that intelligent mind, and intelligence of not just facts, but knows because it is all. So I am grateful to be able to speak in peace in this place of peace, and just bless this world with that feeling. I'm going to ask you to join me for just some time here to hold that peace in your mind and in your heart. Just feel it. I wouldn't even say think it. Just feel. No fear. Everything is here. There is love. All is love. And let it wash over this entire planet. Now that is proper use of our imagination. And so it is. Thank you.
Oh, that felt good. Thank you, Reverend Joe.
Yeah.
It's very grounding.
And emotional.
And emotional,
Oh,
yeah.
really good.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. What insight and a new way of looking at that wonderful movie. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so now we're ready for we talked about time and talents, and now it's time to talk about treasures, because through our spiritual economics, we are able to bless our center and continue moving forward. We are able to bless the community, and we're able to bless CSL as a whole with contribution. So we have Zelle, we have the online QR code, and we have mail. So however it is that you would like to share that abundance, please do so. And we have our affirmation. So if you'll say it with me as I say it here. I am overflowing with love and abundance. I give from the source of my being, which is rich and unlimited. With joy and excitement, I share from this overflow. In return, the universe gives back to me in infinite ways, channels, and means. And so it is. So it is. So just a little reminder, we do have our Zoom meeting next coming up, so make sure you join us there. And we also, just a reminder, we have our upcoming services. March 8th, we're in person. Reverend Joe is talking about traveling in a world of my creation. And then online on March 15th, what we'll see will defy explanation. That's another Willy Wonka reference. So hopefully we can hear the new video that we're ending our service with.
So I had a thought. If it doesn't work through Tony's, I wonder if I can try to share.
Okay. Reverend Joe just popping in and out like that. That's great. I don't hear it.
Yeah, it's still not happening. Let me try to share screen window. Also share, yes. Oh, okay. So I wonder if that's part of the problem. I've never seen that button before. Also share this audio system. So let me see if that maybe solved it. Can you, Tony, see my screen and pull it up? And then let me make it big. And let's see if can you hear it? If it's playing. Come on. Now you don't want to play? Really? Don't you dare. Come on. All right. I literally was just playing this. Okay, there
Each
we
and
go.
every moment,
Can you hear it?
I remember who I am.
All
I
right.
show up uniquely in the world in the way that only I can. I keep my thoughts clear. I create my own day. I know that there is power in every word I say.
Pointing to our
I
logo.
show up, I glow up with every word I speak. I take it day by day and do it all again next week. I am abundant, I am free. I am love, I am me. I am joy, I am the light of the sun. I know who I am, and that we are one.
All right. Well, we got the last one to lock in. Thank you,
Yay.
everybody. God
Thank
bless you all. Peace, joy, and love.
And blessings.
And blessings.
Abundant blessings. Yes. See you
Have
next
a
week
good
in
week.
person.